Hello, I'm going to show you how to fix an UltraGlide clutch mechanism that's made by Hunter Douglas. We have a number of Hunter Douglas shades. We love them, but two of them broke, and it was interesting that they broke exactly the same. It took me about 4 hours to fix the first one, but once I understood how to do it, the next time it took about 15 minutes. Instead of replacing the clutch system, which costs probably $100, this costs you maybe 2 cents. It only really requires a small screw. I'll show you how it's done. I didn't take a picture at the beginning, but the problem occurs when this string here is actually pulled all the way down, and the upper string there is fully extended. So you cannot actually crank the crank like that. So to remove it is very simple. There's a little tab at the top that we flip to the right. There's 2 or 3 of them depending on how long it is. We then grab it and twist it, and it comes out just fine. You have to release, and it has to go to the left. It's a tiny little plastic. And then I pull it forward and out. So the first thing to do is to put the blind down on a flat, clean surface. It's in the extended position because that's how it's broken. And then what we do is we take off the end where the string is. And I'll show you that's easily done. I just hold the bottom and just clip it off. It comes off. You often see it just knocked off as well. And then we take off the cranking mechanism. There's one Phillips screw. And we remove that, keep that safe here. And then we take this out, and this is the cranking mechanism here. We want to leave everything perfectly the same on the table, otherwise the opening system of the slats is at the other end, and that's not broken. Here's what it normally looks like. It's not broken. There's a spring inside, and it's attached in 2 places. One near the outer area, and the other near the inner axle. Here's our broken clutch. Look at the spring, it's detached. If you look closely where the arrow is, the plastic flange is completely broken off. It's floating somewhere. Our goal is to put in a new spring anchor, like this little screw here. Here it is in the final product. We want to put that screw in so that it will anchor the spring. Here are the supplies that you need. They are all pretty easily to obtain. The first thing you need is a wrench that would take perhaps a 3/8 inch hex bolt. The next thing is a number 6 machine screw, and this has to be exactly about 5 to 6 millimeters long, or perhaps 3/16, perhaps 1/4, but no longer. I actually didn't have one of these, so I cut a 1/2 inch machine screw to a 5 millimeter length. You need something to heat that screw, and so I just have a barbecue lighter. You need this is a hemostat, which is particularly good for holding the screw, but certainly a needle nose pliers would work well. Some screwdriver to fit in that fits the top of that round head screw. A little pointed object so you can hook hook string, which I'll tell you about. And then it's always good to lubricate. So a white lithium type lubricant. Now we put the cranking mechanism on the workspace. And so one of the things I do at the very beginning is, because occasionally the spring will jump out, I actually have taken a picture of it right here. And so I just take a picture with my cell phone of this side of the mechanism. Just so that if the spring jumps out, I know exactly the orientation of the spring to put it back in. It usually does. I think I can do it without it jumping out, but I can tell you the last time I did it, it did jump out. So the first thing you do is you take this thing off like this, undo the hex bolt, put it to the side, and then I actually flip it over because there's a lot of mechanisms inside this side, and I then just lift it off. Give it a little shake to get some of the gears off. And there are all the gears in there in place. If you can shake it off like that, you don't have to do anything. So we put that carefully because all those little gears can fly off somewhere. I'll put that aside in a safe place. It won't get knocked. And then here we are at the actual crank system. And let's just take this thing off. There's another little plastic cog. And we'll put that off safe because that needs to go on. And then this whole thing comes out like this. And you can see that what's happened is, so this particular end of the spring is perfectly fine, but the other side actually connects to, I'll show it to you here. It actually connects to a little flange. Oh, and there's the old broken piece right there. I'll take that out because that's one of the reasons why you have to do it. Here's the broken piece. I think it's really a poor design here because it's just a very small flange for the other side. So I'll see if I can show you that. So right here is where it broke off. And that's where we have to replace it with another flange. So we take that off. We never actually undo that. We always keep it associated. Now what I've done is I've made a screw here. And the screw is actually, I've used a number 8 machine screw, and I've cut it off because I don't have one exactly the same. And what I've done is, this one's slightly small, but it's okay to be slightly small. It just can't be too big. And you can see that the actual, so it's a 5mm screw that I've made. I've cut the end of it, but if you can get a 5mm or 6mm screw, the small screw, that'd be great. So what we do now is we see where the actual hole was, and we want to make a hole slightly smaller. So this is a 1/8 inch drill just behind where it had broken off before. And then we put that in there like that to make a little hole. Now, what I do is I like to, I use a hemostat. So what I do, but a needle nose plier will work perfectly as well. I heat this up because I don't want to crack the plastic. So I'm just going to heat it up a little bit so that as it goes in, this screw is slightly larger than the hole. So but hopefully it's going to screw in just fine. So I'm just heating it up there with just get it a little bit hot. And then I'm going to screw it into the hole here. There it goes. Perfect. Can't be too hot either because otherwise you'll melt everything. So I've got it into the hole. And it's now in there. I'll spend a second letting it cool. Now, what we're going to do is flip this over. We're going to flip this over like that. Looks pretty good. It's sticking out nicely. Now the issue is, what we have to do is it's very important to wind up the string here. And we're just going to try it out for size for a second. Yeah, but it's very important you wind up the string. Okay, now we're going to just put this on top. Oh, it's a bit hot. Okay, and then we're just going to pull and look and see if it catches. So we're going to see if it catches here. Oh, and it catches fine. Oh no, we got to. So now what we've got to do is take it out, and we've got to kind of make that. We've got to make it a little bit. I'm going to make a little kind of modification to this a bit, so it's going to hook around a bit better. Here we're hooking this around. So I wanted to get it to good and. So the spring, you know, we don't want it to lose, and what's happening is that the there we go. Now we just have to unbend that part. We're just trying to straighten this out a bit. There we go. Let's bend it a bit like that. And let's see if we can get that to hook in. We wind it up again. Put this in. We're just going to have a look at this side, see if it hooks. Oh, it hooked nicely there. Look at that. It's hooked really nicely. Now, so that's, so we're almost there. Now we've got to do something. We've got to tighten the wire a little bit. So you can see how it's hooked on that screw pretty well. So we're just going to turn it over. And what we have to do is we have to add a loop to the, so we got to hook this wire down here, I mean not the wire, the string, and we're going to, because we've got to tighten, we've got to turn it, because we have to add a loop, so we've got to turn it, put some tension on it here, we got to put some tension on, and then with your nail, you just poke it in all the way around. You can actually spin it until it comes to the, oh, you can't, let's see. I want to get it all the way around here. So we're pushing it in with our nail. Got to get another sort of rotation of the string in there. All the way around. And we've got it. Now, let's be careful this time. So that's the mechanism restored right there. And what I've got is I've got some lithium white grease, and I just got to put that in the holes. And now we have to put the thing back together. So we've get this little cog, and that just fits in there like that. Now, this is best to do with this down. So this goes in over top, holding it carefully so things don't spring out. And we just lower it carefully onto there, and that's perfect. It's great there. So that's good. And then we put our screw back in. Here it is. it can't, I found this can miss thread, so it's best just to get it started with your finger until it goes easily. But actually I'm going to wait for a second. I'm just going to put a little bit more, just a bit more stuff, you know, put a little bit of lithium grease, just lift it up a bit, tiny bit, and spray. Because if it doesn't go smoothly, it's going to grab. So we hand tight that. And make sure it's not too tight. And here we go. Let's see if it works. Look at that. Completely fixed. So this is this mechanism, $65 US. And it works just perfectly like that. And so I fixed it for the cost of a bit of oil, 10 minutes of my time, and a single screw. So that's what it looks like at the end. So we're back at the clean table. I've cleaned my hands because you get that lithium grease, and that's a concern to get it on the drape. So what we do is we it doesn't matter how you orange, you just have to get it in between the slats, and then we just orient it like that. And put the screw back in here. Like that. And then we just place this in, you snap it on, kind of fit it around the top, and it snaps into place, and that's it there. What? Okay. So we're hooking it in the front, and then we're pushing it back, and then we turn that little lock to the left, and let's see if it works. So here we go. Perfect. And then we hook it up again.